Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Jay here, and I'm here to talk to you about something very important and controversial. Race. So this video will not be a funny or playful video, I'm sorry. But this is very serious, so I hope you would have the heart to listen to what I have to say. So before we talk about all the stuff I wanted to talk about, first I have to explain to you why you should listen to me. Because I already know some of you are going to be like, hey, you live in Santa Monica. It's the good life. So why should I listen to you? You don't know what people have been through. Well, my life may not have been the worst, but, it's not really the sunshine and rainbows that, you would expect either. Well, I don't know, maybe. I'm kidding. All the way until I was 10, I lived in Hartford, Connecticut, also where the Sandy Hook shooting happened, but that didn't involve me. My family wasn't extremely poor like most others that lived there, so they managed to keep me away from most of the bad things that were happening outside. But school wasn't an exception. Out there, unless you were the baggest and baddest, you couldn't really stay away from a fight. So I was in them all the time. Some wins, some losses, but they all left scars. The schools didn't actually teach me much either. I would learn a lot less than other kids in better schools, and they actually made me stop writing in cursive because all the other kids couldn't. And sometimes I wouldn't be able to avoid a fight because I would be jumped by multiple people, and I wouldn't tell my family because I was afraid of what was going to happen. So I kept it to myself. Before I moved to a better school, the last fight I got into, I had a brick thrown at my head, causing permanent scarring. Hair will not grow there anymore. The point is, while I lived there, I was exposed to a lot of things that people who live in good areas don't really know about, which is good, but that means the only bad things that happen to other people are exposed to them from media, which isn't always the most reliable. Now, don't think that living in areas like this can shield you from bad things. People themselves can do very bad things like sexual assault and abuse in places like this, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I just don't want you to think I feel like nothing bad can happen in a place where we live. When my mom landed a really good job out here, I was put into a much better situation, and that's why I really like school. The thing is that I know what it's like to live in a really bad area, so that's why I'm always happy when it comes to being in school and whatever. But anyway, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that whether you like it or not, somebody around you doesn't think racism is a very relevant topic, that it's not as common, or that it's over. And I'm here to tell you that it's not. And it's actually really bad right now. I mean, people are so oblivious to it. I mean, some of you in here don't even know who Trayvon Martin is. And that's really sad. Let me give you a couple examples of things that have happened recently that just prove my point. Here's footage of a cop tasing and pepper spraying a black man in a car because he was having a stroke and he couldn't get out.
Get out the car! Get out the car, smoke you! Get out the car! Right now! We ain't playing, get out the car! That's the point, get out! Don't move around!
To add insult to injury, they also ran over his foot.
Oh my God, stop it! It's on his foot. His foot's under.
This one is of cops beating a girl out of a classroom. She was being verbally abusive, but not physically violent. and the list goes on and on and on. But it's not like this stuff is new. It's really not. It's only because of new upcoming media that this stuff is actually being put out there. Now the hateful and racist can't hide the things that happen now anymore, but a lot of people still don't know about the things that did happen, like segregation. Now, a lot of people don't think too much of it when you think segregation. Whites and blacks were separated, and that's that. And most blacks were poor. But why do you think that is? Blacks people were by themselves. They lived in their own neighborhood and they were cut off from white people. So why is it that we were super poor and couldn't sustain ourselves? Well, I'm gonna bring back one of the many things that happened to explain this. For example, the Tulsa race riots. Cute name, right? Well, the story is a lot worse. Let me paint this picture. Blacks had their own section of the whole state, and we were happy. Business flourished, there were clubs, parties, and everyone was so just nothing could bring our mood down. But white people came and they killed hundreds of people in those places, and they burned the whole place down to the ground. The whole town burned, everybody in it. The firefighters didn't come, they just let everything burn. In that one single incident, 300 burned and died. 200 were counted missing, and 800 badly injured. And it wasn't just there, it was happening in all sorts of places with more and even worse and more brutal deaths and just horribleness. You know, it's very sad that with every death, we become more detached and care less, just another number. But don't forget that every single one of those people had lives, had a family and friends just like you and me. Their story deserves to be told. More people died in the towns and cities put together than 9/11 3 times over. And I bet very few of you knew about those things that happened though, did you? A lot of people like to forget and ignore the things that happened, and that is just really sad, because that creates ignorance and leads people to say things that are uneducated and really hurtful. Like, a lot of people don't realize how much it hurts when people say all lives matter. Honestly, that makes me so angry, and I'll tell you why. Here we are trying to bring justice and attention to those who don't have the ability to tell their story because they died, because of hate crimes, because of the color of our skin. And here you are saying all lives matter is the equivalent of going in our face and telling us to get over it. And that hurts and makes me so angry, because you don't know what it's like to have these things happen to you and your family and your ancestors. And in fact, your ancestors actually are the ones that did this to us. You made it happen, and you want to tell us to get over it? All lives matter. It isn't about everybody else. We're talking about what happened to us. We want our story told because no one else will. And saying all lives matter silences us out.
They don't tell you black lives don't matter. That's not what they say. That's not the argument. They hit you with that like, well, all lives matter. Really? Semantics? That would be like if your wife came up to you and was like, do you love me? And you were like, baby, I love everybody. What are you talking about? I love all God's creatures. What are you saying? You're no different. Why do black people always have to get over it so quickly? Thanks, black lady. Right? Why do we gotta get over it every time we bring something up? Slavery. Oh, that was 400 years ago. Segregation. Oh, you guys got Black History Month out of it. Come on, dude. We gave you February. Police shooting. That was 2 weeks. Come on, you still? 9/11. Oh, never forget. That's why this September I'm getting a t-shirt that says all buildings matter. I'm gonna see how that works.
I'm sorry, but the topic gets very on my nerves. That is an incorrect sentence, but I'm just gonna let it go. The next topic I want to cover is this whole color blindness people say to me. It's honestly really stupid and idiotic. First of all, even saying colorblind is bringing on that kind of offense in our eyes, because if you really didn't care, you wouldn't bring it up at all. If someone asks you, do you care about the race of someone, you just say no. But I don't really want to cover that topic too much because it's very subjective. It's just how I feel. I can't bring up actual facts to say that that is wrong. But that does bring me to my next topic. When you say something that caters to one race, it's really not racist. If I say people with lighter skin tones can blush, that's not racist. It's just a fact. That's like me saying that I have brown skin is racist. It's not. I do in fact have brown skin, just in case you didn't know. Which again brings me to another topic, because there's not much else to be said about that. It's just plain and simple that facts aren't racist. The next topic I want to talk about is about differentiating races. Trying to be the same isn't good. You shouldn't want everyone to be the same, because that takes away the uniqueness of a race and our culture. The bass in our songs comes from African culture. That boom you hear is from Africa, because most of our instruments were drum instruments. And white Caucasian culture comes from a more musical string kind of instrument, like violins and guitars. Now don't get me wrong, sometimes it's good to intermingle with it and mix it up a bit. When you combine the two, you get hip-hop and R&B, and who doesn't like a little bit of that? But when you try to be the same, it causes problems and barriers. Like, did you know a new law is going to be put in place that dreadlocks aren't fit for a workplace environment? I know, crazy, right? Yeah, sorry Miss Walls. Looks like these guys don't approve, because they're trying to get everything to be orderly and the same. A lot of times, it's good to have your own styles and cultures and differences. The people who make these rules aren't bad people, they're just getting it wrong. In order to fix racism, you have to get rid of hate, not differences. Which brings me to our last point. All these things happen because people needed someone to take their anger out on. And when there's a lower class, it makes it okay to do that. Like the Holocaust, as soon as the Jews became the lower class, it made it okay for people to be mean. And when you do that, it can really show the worst of people. You see it everywhere. I want to thank you for listening to this. This is gonna be for STV for Martin Luther King Day, but a more in-depth version will be on my YouTube channel for Black History Month in February. Thank you guys for watching, and remember, don't be the same. You just need to stop the hate. Oh, and dreadlocks didn't come from Vikings. I searched and searched. There is absolutely no evidence to prove that dreadlocks came from Vikings. So just know.